Well, welcome to Green Signals, live from the greatest gathering at Derby Litchurch Lane with me, Richard Bowker, and...
And me, Nigel Harris.
Well, welcome to everybody to Derby again. It has been, well, it's been an extraordinary start to proceedings. We had an amazing day yesterday. We're going to show you a bit of drone footage in a moment. But first of all, just a couple of housekeeping issues. One is that we do have on site a very powerful PA system, and we may just need to pause at a couple of points when they make an announcement. It's for safety reasons and so on, so we have to do that. Also, a big shout out to DB Cargo, who have lent us their Starlink satellite system, which is what we're using to upstream to YouTube. It's absolutely superb, and yesterday it was near flawless, but there's a couple of moments if we're doing lots and lots of stuff where it does buffer a little bit. Bear with it. Image corrects itself very quickly, and it's really great. But thank you to DB Cargo for loaning us their equipment. We're most appreciative.
Absolutely. As is our usual style, we're pushing it to the limit.
We are pushing it to the limit. Yesterday was incredible. So the first day of the greatest gathering, absolutely superb. And we've got a little bit of drone footage where you can just see the scale of this site. Got your step count up yesterday, Nigel, I think?
It did, and my Wiriol replacement knees felt every one of them.
No, it's absolutely superb. Hopefully you get an idea of that from the images that you've just seen, just how big this site is. Anyway, we'll crack straight on. All right. Apparently we're still on the drone footage. Never mind. You get an even bigger view of the actual site here. Apparently I think this is Alstom's biggest site they've got.
Well, I think I read somewhere it's 90 acres.
No.
But it is certainly, I don't know what that is in football pitches, Richard.
No, I can't do the maths. I can't do the maths fast enough of that. So I can't tell you how many football pitches that is, apart from a lot.
A lot.
A lot. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the drone footage of it. So I'm absolutely delighted to welcome our first guest to Green Signals this morning. Somebody very special, Brannon Carty.
Brannon, great. Thank you for coming along.
Yeah, thank you.
Welcome to Green Signals. Now, Brannon, you are a film director, and you have just directed a film called An Unlikely Fandom, The Impact of Thomas the Tank Engine. I think we've actually got the trailers, so we're probably playing that right this minute so that folks can see. I mean, I suppose first question, why Thomas? What attracted you to Thomas the Tank Engine?
When I was a kid, my older brother, who's 2 years older than me, he was into Thomas. And it's always the kind of thing, you want to do what your older siblings are doing, because like, that's cool. He had the wooden trains and we had the VHS tapes, so I would just kind of watch them with them. The only difference is he grew out of it. I didn't. For his 10th birthday, he was getting like Transformers. For my 10th birthday, I was getting Thomas toys.
The bug bit.
Yeah, so very different. And it's just incredible that one, it is stuck with not just me, but other people.
Millions.
And I thought, why not do a film about that? We've had other films about these subcultures that are tied to shows and movies, but why not Thomas? It hasn't been given a spotlight yet, so we just kind of went with it, and it's been a great sort of springboard, and I've met so many amazing people.
And what is it, do you think, about Thomas? What's the sort of the magic, the secret sauce, do you think, that has made it just this genuine phenomenon?
I think a lot of it, stems from the Railway series books. You've got that terminology. It's very realistic.
There's real railway in there because Wilbert knew railways, didn't he?
Yeah. And of course, it's dramatized a little bit, but that's what makes it fun. And then you get to the TV series in 1984, and it's shot like a motion picture. It's done on 35mm film. The models are beautiful. The colors are great. You have Ringo Starr, a Beatle.
That was inspired, wasn't it?
It's great, because then it gets the parents into it too. And the kids don't know who he is, but the parents don't mind having it on, And I think just the biggest thing is the characters are relatable. And it is so beautiful. And at the end of the day, I think a lot of people like trains and they just don't know it. So it's just great to see them.
And one of the things I've always loved about it as a child myself, and I loved them as a child, my children have loved them as well, they are fundamentally kind. Okay, there's some interesting moral challenges perhaps, but
get bricked up in a tunnel now and
well, okay, maybe that's the best example of when it got to the edge. But they are fundamentally kind, and they teach things. Do you think that resonates? Is that one of the things that makes them what they are? Do you think?
Yeah, I think you're going to see engines fight, just like real people do in real life.
Yeah.
The difference here is that at the end of the day, everyone's going to be all right. There is sort of a moral that's not shoved down your throat like other shows. I mean, I always think of, there's one episode, it's where this Class 40 comes in and he tells the engines they need to be scrapped, get rid of them. At the end of the day, he gets his comeuppance and the engines live happily ever after. And it's like, you have people in your life that will act like that. So you can relate to it, which is great. It engages you. And once again, it's just nice to see beautiful model trains. I mean, who doesn't love that?
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's always struck me that it's no coincidence, really, that Wilbur Awdry was a cleric. And they are essentially sort of Christian ethics, aren't they?
Right.
Of sinning and forgiveness and resolution and all that sort of thing. At the end of the day, it'll be okay. It's the same sort of stories you get in Star Trek and Star Wars, isn't
Right,
it?
yeah.
Good people, bad people, big fight goes on one kind or another, and at the end, it's okay.
It's these fables that just keep,
Yeah.
it just keeps living
Universal truths.
on. Yeah, exactly.
But what a job.
Yeah, exactly.
What a job. What was your last? Well, director Thomas. Yeah.
And how difficult was it to do? Because there's presumably a lot of research. You know, obviously we sadly lost Britt Allcroft recently, but
Right.
but was it? Did you find that actually being able to get the research done to do the film was relatively straightforward?
Yeah, it was kind of like I trained for 25 years of my life, and I already was very familiar with the world. The hardest part really was sort of finding the people.
Right.
I'm in this fandom. I'm an adult Thomas fan. I think all of us are here in some way,
Yeah.
shape, or form. So I knew these people through Twitter, Facebook, and it was just a matter of getting in touch and saying, hey, we're going to do this film. It's going to expose this interest that you like in a positive light. Do you want to do it? And most people said yes. There were a few people who were a little trepid about it, nervous.
Okay.
But I think, at least in the final film, it shows, you know, it's authentic, it's sincere. There's nothing to be ashamed of.
Not at all. And is the film going out on general release? How will people be able to actually go and see it?
Yes, so right after our UK premiere today,
Yep.
in the next coming weeks, we're going to finally put it on streaming, which is great. So everyone will be able to see it on Amazon.
Fantastic. So it's premiere at The Greatest Gathering. I can't think of anything better.
It's surrounded by literally every Thomas character there could possibly be.
And then some, yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So you got Annie and Clarabelle and Troublesome Carriages and Troublesome Trucks and the whole thing. They were good. I mean, it's not that long ago I saw a compendium of all of them and just bought it straight away.
Right,
You know,
yeah.
it's and it's a great browsing, because the artwork is a real reason for its success. And I know there were a couple of different artists did it, but they are just beautiful, aren't they?
Oh yeah, and you know, the fact that like the books are the size they are,
Yeah.
but even though they're tiny, the illustrations pop off the page.
Yeah.
It's bigger than life.
Totally, yeah. Got to ask you this question. More recently, it's changed. It's moved from being the beautiful models, the beautiful colours, and it's become now, as so many things have, CGI, it's digital. I can probably say this: it doesn't do it for me in the way those
No,
models
mate.
do.
No, mate.
I mean, what's your thoughts on that?
Is that sacrilege or?
You know, I have a lot of friends who like the CGI stuff. I personally don't engage with it, but I think it is good that Thomas is evolving to a degree, because then
Yeah.
today's generations will at least have him.
I
I'd rather
agree,
than have
yeah.
him than not have him.
Yeah,
But
no,
those of a few more years, I mean, I was a child of the late 60s, and Thunderbirds,
yeah.
loved it. I wouldn't miss an episode. But it came along rebooted as CGI, and I hated that as well.
Yeah.
You want the puppets.
No, I know it's of its time, isn't it? Well, look.
We're just old blokes now, Rich.
Well, there
That's
is
the
there is
thing.
a little risk of that.
I'm
But
slightly older than
the
you.
good news is Thomas is even older than we are,
Wait
and
for
yet lives on, and it's so exciting. Brandon, well, look, thank you so much for coming and sharing in that. And listen, well done on
Absolutely.
doing it. I can't
Thank you.
believe that nobody's done it till now. It's
No,
just,
no.
it's amazing.
And it will mean much more when I sit and watch it now, like I say.
Right on.
I chatted with the director the other day.
There you go.
Thank you,
Pleasure.
Brandon.
All the
Thank
very
you.
best
and
with
all
the
the best
premiere,
with it.
yeah,
I really-
absolutely.
It deserves to be a tremendous success, and I'm sure it will.
I'm sure it will be.
Thank you, Belle.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, Brandon Carty, director of An Unlikely Fandom, The Impact of Thomas the Tank Engine, premieres here at The Greatest Gathering, and then will, as Brandon says, go out on general release on streaming. So can't wait to see that. That's
How
absolutely
great is it
super.
that Thomas is here in spirit? throughout
Absolutely,
the show.
absolutely indeed. Thank you so much. Right, well, okay, so one of the things that people obviously really want to come and see at The Greatest Gathering are engines, locomotives. And it's a great segue from Thomas the Tank Engine into some of the steam engines that we've actually got here. So we've just pulled a little video together which we're just going to play now, and then Nigel and I are going to talk across it about some of the steam locomotives that we've got here. So, what have you managed to be able to go and see, Nigel, whilst you've been here?
Well, that area sort of over there and our 10 o'clock behind the buildings is just brilliant for all the big engines, isn't it? There's, Sir Nigel Gresley, and there's Flying Scotsman and Bahamas and Scots Guardsmen, and all the sort of express engines that you've ever dreamed about or liked, they're all there. And all those steam engines in all forms, from 3.5-inch gauge upwards, are great fun. There will always be something utterly majestic about the big Class A express engines, especially, and you see a lot of this at a show like this. People are used to seeing them from a platform. You can see they're genuinely gobsmacked when they're alongside of them and they tower over
You're
them.
so right. I mean, I'm 6 foot, and when you're stood next to the driving wheels of an A4 or a Merchant Navy,
Which are
and you're
often
kind
6
of
foot-ish.
you're looking at the top of the rim, and then the rest of the locomotive goes on. It is. I saw a little kid yesterday stood next to Clan Line, which I think is on this film. And he literally was just that famous 1920,
Southern poster,
famous Southern poster, and he's just looking up, going, "Oh my goodness me!" It's just quite something.
And I think I said yesterday, a big thing for me is I love the fact there's all that huge engineering of the rods, but machined to thousandths of a tolerance. So you have these big whirling masses that are beautifully engineered, and that's a tribute to generation after generation of largely men in that time in works like this who were just so skilled at sort of working huge lumps of metal into these wonderful locomotives.
I totally agree. And one of the things that's lovely here as well, you've mentioned sort of the different gauges that are here. We've also got, some stuff Furnace 20's here. Again, I think Furnace 20's been on that film. Am I right? That's the oldest operational standard gauge steam engine we've got now.
It is, and it's had a charmed existence. It was built in the 1860s for the Furnace Railway,
right,
as a tender engine. And because the railways grew so much, it was obsolete within 10 years.
Wow.
And then a miracle happened because Barrow Steelworks bought 10 of them, sent them back to Sharp Stewart that had built them, to turn them into saddle tanks. And that ensured that they carried on working till 1960, when they were replaced by diesels, and 2 went to special schools in Furness and survived as playgrounds.
What an amazing story. I had no idea.
And that then meant they lasted long enough for my colleagues on the Furness Railway Trust to get hold of that one in particular and rebuild it with some lottery funding assistance. And I think it was then VSEL at Barrow Shipyard.
Fantastic.
Who took it into the workshops and let my mates work on it there and finish it off.
And, you go from that, you go from that to something like Flying Scotsman, which is, it is the world's most famous steam locomotive, let's be honest.
I know that perplexes you.
Well, no, it doesn't actually. I get brand equity and I realise how that's important, but it is an amazing thing to see and, absolutely remarkable locomotive. So, no, it's fantastic that they're all here. We're going to be doing some more filming of this. We've taken so much footage whilst we've been here.
We'll never be short of B-roll.
Well, we're never going to be short of B-roll, and we're going to have a heck of a lot of fun editing it. I don't know how many weeks it's going to take to do, but I hope that's given people a little bit of a taste of what you can actually see here. It is absolutely superb. It's lovely to see stuff in steam as well, which is really, really nice.
Well, to see a loco on a plinth is one thing, but see it in steam when it comes to life, it's like the difference between seeing a Fender Stratocaster hung on a wall as a guitar, and then when somebody like Eric Clapton picks it up, and that's when it comes to life.
Well, what an analogy that is. That's
think
fantastic.
so.
I like that. Anyway, Nigel, of course, is a big steam buff, and I love them too, but I must admit, my passion from a heritage point of view has always been diesel. And possibly, I only say that so that I don't fill the mailbag up instantly, right? I accept that other locomotives are available, but possibly, as in probably, the finest example of British locomotive design is the English Electric Type 4 Class 40.
I wouldn't disagree, Richard, because you were a lad of Blackburn a few years behind me. I was at Burnley, but we both used to train spot at the end of the platform at Preston.
We did indeed.
And Class 40s were a huge part of that.
They were a huge part of our life, and I'm delighted to say we've got another guest to come and join us, who is, wait for it, the chairman of the Class 40 Preservation Society. Clive, come and join us.
Of which you are.
Well, we'll maybe go into
morning.
that. Grab a seat.
Morning to you.
Great to see you.
Is the president.
He's a president.
Yeah, I know. Well, okay. Anyway, Clive, chairman of the Class 40 Preservation
Welcome,
Society.
Clive.
Thanks for having us. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's an absolute pleasure. How's it? Well, first of all, what do you think of the show?
It's excellent. It's really, really good, isn't it? It takes me back to my childhood in the Rainhill days. The last time I think this
Was that the last one you did? Was
Last one
because
I
when
did,
was that?
yeah.
1980 was Rainhill, was it?
1980, yeah.
It was 80 years.
Yeah,
15,
yeah.
So,
Oh gosh, that's
yeah,
40.
long-
Anyway,
long
okay,
time ago,
we
yeah.
better
So,
move
Well,
on.
this is, yeah.
of course, our loco was in the Rainhill trials as well.
Is that right?
4106.
So 4106 is here.
Yep,
I think 40013, obviously, which is privately owned, is also
that's
here.
here
isn't
as
it?
well. Yeah, yeah.
But 4106 is here, and that was at the Rainhill Trials. I
Yeah,
didn't
it was
realise
there,
that.
yeah.
Not in 1830, we hasten to
No, not
add.
the first one.
No, I mean the Class 40 is a venerable old lady,
But not
she's
that
not
old.
that old, right?
Yeah, she's not changed much over those years, to be honest. She's a bit more weathered at the moment, but other
Authentic.
than that,
I was going to say,
authentic.
that's got
the
a
word, isn't it?
patina of
Authentic.
I
authenticity.
love the way you'd gone to such an effort to
It's-
get that, that 1979, 1980 look.
1980s years on the banger up North Wales coast, and it's been a lot of time with brushes and to get it as it is now. So
It
yeah,
looks superb.
It
it
does.
looks good. It'd be a shame to paint it.
It's my childhood come to life, really.
I think it's all our childhood come to life.
No.
Going over Copy Pit with a brake tender in.
Did they run with brake tenders? Did they? I
Yeah,
don't-
because my nan
Yeah,
lived
yeah,
in
yeah.
Cliviger, and she was completely baffled, and she said to me, "What's in those wagons? There can't be much. They're very low."
Oh, I see. Oh, the brake tender. I'm sorry, I was being a bit slow there. Yeah. I was going to ask you, Clive. You're chairman of a society that owns three
We own
Class
three.
40s. Obviously, 4106 that's here. We've got 335, which is the split box one that's based at Bury, and of course 345, which is mainline certified. I mean, that is a lot of assets to have to look at. One of which is mainline certified. It must be an expensive old business.
Yeah, we do struggle with funds to keep the three locos operational. 135 is a long-term project now. 2028 is our target date for the roll back in service, but all subject to funds of 135. Looking at £200,000 for 135.
£200,000, and that's to get 335 back in operational condition.
That's to get the power unit working up and running and repaired.
Wow.
So that's that's going to be a huge challenge for us, but we try. We carry on trying
To get all three side by side whistling away.
It would be nice. Again,
Wouldn't
yeah.
that be lovely?
I think it's 2018 the last time we did it. It was 7 years
Is
ago.
that right?
Right.
Then we lost 135 shortly after.
There is something about that look and that design, isn't there? The 37s have it as well.
With the split box.
No, the whole just shape.
Oh, I see,
They
right.
just never seem to look old-fashioned somehow.
No, they're just
No.
rugged, aren't they? Rugged and dependable. That's
Yeah.
what they are.
Like most of the people that are members of the society. I think.
Just like us, really. We're
Yeah, that's
rugged and
correct.
dependable.
I've got to ask this though. So 345, 145, obviously, our mainline certified locomotive. If you were doing that today, what does it cost to get a locomotive certified to operate on the main line to begin with, and then to keep it there over, on an annual basis, roughly?
I think I'll give you a figure for the annual basis.
Yeah.
I wasn't involved in initial, with the CFPS at that time. To keep it on the main line, as long as there's no, serious failures or implications, 20,000.
20,000 just to keep it on the main line.
The insurance cost is huge now.
The insurance
It's,
cost, right?
it's
And
massive.
that presumably is also dependent on a lot of people giving an enormous amount of time for nothing. I mean, that's if we had to pay for that, it would be a different story, wouldn't it?
Yeah, we do pay for some of the work that we do on the locos.
Yeah.
But a lot our volunteers at Bury mainly work on 4135
Yeah.
because it's based there and it's not moving. 4106 at the Severn Valley. It's our volunteers do work on that, but we are subcontracting some work out
Of
on that
course.
as well because we do struggle with volunteers.
Can I ask what might seem to you as a really stupid question, but I excel in them, as Richard will tell you. And but it's never occurred to me before. I mean, I'm steam through and through, and every 10 years a steam locomotive has to come apart completely, whether you've used it or not since then. How does it work with mainline diesels? Do you have to strip them right down over on a it's like a 10-yearly cycle or whatever, or
Well,
is it more a continuous thing?
It's more of a continuous thing with exams during the year as an annual exam, obviously each
So
year.
ultrasonic wheels and all the rest of
it's
it. Yeah.
recertified, it's on board equipment once a year, it's OTMR, it's TPWS,
Okay.
or audit safety critical
But you
stuff.
don't have to sort of completely take the thing apart like we do with steam engines.
No, I hope not, no.
There's Clive now sort of going, oh my
takes-
goodness.
Don't give
It
them
takes us
ideas.
all
I'll shut up.
keep
I'll
them
shut
on
up. They're
peace.
not giving anybody an idea.
No,
Yeah,
I know, because I've been on a few rail tours, obviously, with 345 with you. I've been out in the main line, and they're always top and tail. Now there's a loco at the back.
Yeah.
But that's smart, isn't it? Because
You have to ensure
well, it's also you don't want the risk of it sitting down and causing
No,
delay.
that's what
But
I
not
meant.
only that, it also means that the 40 is getting a bit of a helping hand, which
Exactly.
means the 40 itself is not under too much stress. But that's just smart, isn't it?
Of course it is.
It's all high risk for us on the network, and we need to bring that risk down as much as
Yeah.
we can. So you've got the risk of us failing on the network and causing delay.
That's the big one, of
That's
course.
the big
isn't
one
it?
for us. And then you've also got the issue with the loco. If it breaks, we've got to fix it. So the loco on the rear is an insurance policy, but it stops me getting too stressed as well when I'm on the train. I can be thrashing away in the front and it's not going very fast. And things like Nicky incline in front. And
So, do you give chairman's instructions on the various gradients where it wants a helping hand?
well, we'll leave that to the professionals.
There's
but,
400 people on the trail loving it, and there's a couple at the back going, "Oh my
yeah,
god!"
going oh no.
It is like that because the sigh of relief, no doubt, when you go past the signal back off the network and.
It's a different kettle of fish when you're travelling as a passenger on a rail tour behind 145, and when you're responsible for the
You're
engine.
alert to every noise or
every
jolt
time
or
there's a jolt, every time it goes quiet.
So what's the annual membership cost at the Class 40 Preservation Society?
It's currently £27.50 for
20
annual,
£27.50.
but it will be going up on the 1st of September. We're moving over to the choice of the traditional membership for £40, where you get the hard copies of the magazine.
Yeah.
Because the magazines cost an awful lot of money to produce
They
these
do.
days, or the e-copy, which we use an online, like.
And I love that. I
PDF
get
some of
mine
them,
Yeah, it's
on
good.
digital, and it's great.
Yeah.
So for £27.50 at the moment, anybody listening can become a member.
They can.
And help support.
How was that, Richard? £27.50.
It's £27.50.
£27.50.
I can't believe what a bargain that is, right? So
That's the
seriously,
website for the address where
There
they
is
can
a
look it
website.
up.
So the website, if you want to join, is what?
Is www.cfps.co.uk, and there's loads of links on there to send.
So cfps.co, that would find it.
That'll
Yeah.
find it,
Yeah.
and then follow the links for Member Mojo that we use.
I mean, seriously, we're
obviously
obviously biased, but that's, £27.50, and the money goes to support something which is, it's truly iconic, and, is because of a lot of hard work of people.
I
who
ought
keep
to
it
join,
going.
really, shouldn't I?
You absolutely should join. I'm hoping that some green signalers
What-
will be listening thinking, I've been wondering which society to join to help support
Indeed.
preserve diesel, and that's the one I'm going to do now. So there
I
you
mean,
go.
how could I not, having had the great honour of sitting between the chairman and Mr. President?
Well, there you go.
That's it.
So 345 is currently at Carnforth, having worked on. When do we think we might be seeing it back out in the
Next
main line?
year, 2026.
2026.
There's a small possibility, which I'm not going to commit to, that it, that it
Cautious,
may,
man.
be on the last minute sort of like test one before the end of the year.
Yeah.
But, we keep our members updated, and so the perk
That's
of membership
brilliant.
is to find out the information to go and
That's
photograph it.
fantastic.
You don't want a hostage to fortune. When I first started in railway journalism in the early 1980s, Duke of Gloucester was always 2 years away.
Yeah, it's 2028.
Yeah. Well, look, Clive, thanks so much for joining us. I know, because we talk fairly regularly, just how hard you and Phil
Yeah.
and all in fact everybody on
Any
the
group
committee
has got
works.
that,
It's you don't get paid for it.
It's a second job sometimes.
It is a
really,
second job.
Only-
so-
only
part-time
sometimes.
job, Yes. Yeah, only sometimes. I'll be honest. It's all, it's.
It's all the time. I would
And if
Yeah.
it's like that at the Class 40 Preservation Society, let's be honest, it's like that for every
Every
preservation
group.
society.
Everybody. Yeah.
And the amount of work they put in for nothing, because they love it, is absolutely superb. So listen, Clive, thank you very much for
Thanks,
joining
Clive.
Okay,
us.
thank you very
And
much.
Really
I will
appreciate
join.
it.
I will
Top man
join.
to see is in you.
We will come and see you in New
in
Shop if
Shed
you're
you.
here.
Yeah.
Thank you very
Thank you
much.
very much
Cheers.
indeed.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
So there we go. Class 40 Preservation Society. Other societies are available. It's just that the Class 40 is probably the best, but there you go.
And other societies don't have 340s, so...
No, we've got 340s.
A statement of blinding ignorance. I didn't know that you had 3.
What, sorry?
That you had 3.
We have 3. We have three
not-
locomotives.
I
So
did
there
not
you go.
know.
No, it's marvellous, isn't it?
It is.
No, it's honestly, I mean, I can, without sort of sparing Clyde's blushes, the amount of work these guys put in is quite extraordinary. And I know you know other societies. They're exactly the same.
They're all the same.
It is unbelievable.
An awful lot of people could learn an awful lot about leadership by looking at how these heritage groups work.
Yeah.
Because they just achieve literally miracles. And I was thinking when you said about that, volunteers and the voluntary effort, I don't know whether anybody's ever done the calculation about how many hundreds of millions of pounds worth at 40 quid an hour is devoted every year by people to make all this possible. So...
Well, if you remember when we went to Barrow Hill,
and
we met up with Simon Hartsman, who's runs the Baby Deltic project,
which is here,
and looking, I have to say, looks absolutely superb.
Better when it's green.
It'll be amazing when it's in its final colour. I hope it's green with that sort of little red bit on the soul bar at the front. I thought that's with the iconic colour. And I remember him saying it. The actual cost, the invoice cost, was something like 150,000. But then we said, but if you had to factor in all your time, he said, off the chart.
Yeah.
So it is extraordinary. One of the things we've been able to do whilst we've been around here is take another bit of video of some of the diesels that are actually, you can actually watch here. You can actually come and see at the Greatest Gathering.
And it is a fantastic... I walk in from car park, see down that line of diesels, and it's just fantastic. There's like this pageant of history.
It's unbelievable.
That you walk past and you think, this is just...
So here's a
amazing
little video to whet your appetite. Not everything's featured on here. In fact, there isn't even a Class 40 on this one. So just to show that we don't do favouritism. So
other diesels are available.
Other diesels are available. So here's a little video just to whet your appetite of what you can see at the Greatest Gathering.
Enjoy.
D6700, the first member of the hugely successful English Electric Type 3 Class 37. Built at the world-famous Vulcan Foundry, delivered to British Rail in 1960, the total number of Class 37s built was 309, and remarkably, around 100 are still operational today. A Class 55 Deltic, this one, number 55009, one of the Finsbury Park engines, named after racehorses, now owned by the Deltic Preservation Society. Clayton Type 1, Class 17, was a class of 117 Bobo diesel electric locomotives, arguably the least successful diesel locomotive ever employed on British railways. The organisers have done a great job of arranging the various displays. Here we see a Pendolino, a Class 91, a Deltic and a Class 17 Clayton. These Zephyr depot shunters are normally used by Alstom to move stock around the Derby Litchurch Lane site. The crowds have flocked to the Greatest Gathering, but there's plenty of seating areas for lunch and resting one's sore feet. 975025 Caroline was originally the Southern Region General Manager's saloon and is now used by Network Rail for rail inspection duties. Just over 40 years separates the BR Class 58 from the Class 99 recently delivered to GB Rail Freight. 37401 Mary Queen of Scots stands alongside 47739, a representative of the hugely successful Brush Type 4 or Class 47. Yet another member of Class 37, this example 37501, is finished in the striking British steel light blue livery. Another class well represented at the Greatest Gathering is the English Electric Class 50. Originally entering service on the West Coast Main Line where they replaced steam, they latterly featured on Waterloo to Exeter services in Network South East days and have remained enormously popular with enthusiasts to this day. The Class 66 has been another undoubted success story of the last 25 years. A US design from Electromotive, some 480 UK orders were placed, initially by English, Welsh and Scottish Railway, EWS, and then subsequently GB Rail Freight. 37901 Merley's Pioneer was one of a number of locomotives chosen to testbed the Merley's MB275T engine. The Class 57 is a re-engineered locomotive rebuilt from redundant Class 47s we hear the unmistakable sound of a BRCW Class 27 diesel fitted with a Sulzer 6LD A28B engine. This immaculate example is owned by the Northampton Type 2 group. Also represented here is the BRCW Class 26. Originally seen in North London hauling suburban trains in and out of King's Cross, by mid-1960 the decision had been taken to concentrate the class in Scotland, where they could regularly be found hauling trains on the Far North Line and the Kyle of Lochalsh line. We've really just scratched the surface of this remarkable display of heritage and modern diesel traction. Stay tuned and subscribe to the channel for more updates from The Greatest Gathering.
We're live.
Well, welcome back to Green Signals, live at The Greatest Gathering. Just a couple of things actually to mention. Nigel, we have been inundated with comments and questions and stuff on our YouTube channel, and I was just going to say that I hope people aren't offended, but we've not been able to go back to very many of them at the moment. I mean, there's literally been hundreds, but we've been either filming or editing or walking around the site.
We, or rather you, because you tend to do all that. I'm sure we'll get round to it, but the whole response has been astonishing, hasn't it?
It has.
I mean, people just don't seem to like what they do. They love it, and I find it incredibly humbling. So, thank you.
Yeah, no, so thank you for all the comments. If you've got questions, we will get back to you. It will just take a little bit of time. One of the things you can do if you want to support the channel is sign up for membership. And during the Greatest Gathering, and this is actually available until the 8th of August, so if you're here, don't panic. You haven't got to get it done by the end of Sunday. We're offering 50% off your first month's membership on Patreon. So head over to Green Signals and our Patreon account. The URL is up on the screen. A couple of you said you've sort of had a bit of an issue putting the special offer in. If that is the case, then don't proceed. Just send us an email to info@greensignals.org. and we'll see if we can help you out. It shouldn't happen. You should be able to put the code in there fine. But if you've got any issue, just let us know. But you can support the channel over at Patreon. So if you get a chance to do that, that'd be super. Thank you. And thank you for all of you who have done so far, which is great.
Well, it was good picking up the phone last night and seeing all the notifications from Patreon. You have a new member.
So many new members, which is absolutely terrific.
So thank you for that, because it does make a real difference in us.
It really does.
Moving this channel towards sustainability.
It does. And the special offer code is available until the 8th of August.
It is. Roll up, roll up.
We have another guest with us.
We do.
And a very special guest this time, as all our guests are. But welcome, Tim Shoveler.
Good morning.
Thank
Chief
you for coming
Executive
along, Tim.
of Freightliner. What do you reckon, Tim? Enjoying
Good
it?
morning. It's wonderful, isn't it? Isn't this? It's actually watching people's faces. I mean, the locomotives, the carriages, the rails. Yes, of course, that's wonderful. But watching the pride that comes out from the people that are showing their exhibits, they've restored something, or they're, I've just seen one of our Freightliner drivers just come up and said hello. There's a real passion from many people that run the railway, and you can see the passion is on display here today, as well as the locomotives.
And that pays back. Somebody made this comment yesterday, how pleasant it is, especially seeing as all the stuff you see on the news, just to spend time with all these people that are all smiling and having a good time. Families and enthusiasts, people just genuinely love it. And that really gives you, I find that a real tonic. It really gives you a lift.
There's no doubt. I mean, it's tough running the railway every day, and in the middle of the night and all the challenges that people have. It's not very often you get a chance to sort of show off a little bit.
Celebrate the railway.
That you're proud of.
Yeah.
And say, look, this is what I do for my job. And I can see that in the faces of so many people here. And for those that perhaps don't work for the railway but have an opportunity to come and see up close and personal what the railway can do, is wonderful. I've no doubt that what Gus and James have done here, with all the other support, is inspiring the next generation.
And there is a
people.
genuine interest from, if you like, non-railway people, which is just wonderful to see.
It is something else, though, isn't it? I mean, I remember going to Works Open Days in the sort of the 80s mainly. Crewe and Doncaster. I remember doing both of those actually more than once. And I've got sort of very fond memories of this, and I thought, will this be as good? I think this is better, actually. Not just scale. there's another dimension. I can't quite put a finger on it, but you must have been to some of the same things. I mean,
Yeah, absolutely. No, I've a very clear memory of Old Oak Common open day in about '85, I think, with the sort of Threadwood Elgar there in green.
gosh,
If I remember that well, around the turntable.
At 11:30 in the entertainment zone, be sure to meet Zeus, Europe's largest walking Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Who knew?
I mean, you don't hear that in most places, do you? Come and meet the largest walking Tyrannosaurus Rex. So if you didn't hear that over the PA, that's what they've just announced. So
But you said about open days, Richard. My dad used to be a referee, football referee, and I remember him dumping me at Blackburn Station one day, and there was one of those area managers open day where there's a class 40 and a yellow machine down in and you'd spend they used to do that sort of thing on a low key level, didn't they?
Do you know, I was just thinking back, one of the things that was really special, I think, for people that both worked for the railways but also perhaps didn't travel them very often, was the network days.
network
Now,
days,
how's
yes.
that for a memory?
Yes.
I reckon this is probably the biggest thing for rail since the network days, perhaps. How
Yeah,
about
could
that?
be.
Because that mobilised, hundreds of thousands of people that either didn't normally travel by train, but it gave people a chance to show what rail can do. And of course, Chris was here on Friday, wasn't he? So,
He was sitting where you are.
there
He
we
was
are,
sitting
yeah,
exactly where you are, yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
£3, I think it was.
Is that what it was?
I think it was
my
£3, yeah.
God. That does rather date us slightly, doesn't it?
Anyway, moving on from old.
Moving on swiftly from that.
Let's
No, that
talk
is
about
brilliant.
today's railway, shall we?
Yeah, I mean, look, how's it going with Freightliner? I mean, you've got, a heck of a challenge on. So important, moving the nation's freight. How's it going?
Yeah, so we're in good health. I've been with Freightliner for 2 years and I'm loving it still. So absolutely finding that it's inspiring, it's energising. The fact that we
Running trains again.
Yeah, well, look, we have. At the end of the day, we are our own boss, right? What matters is our customers and the way we deliver to our customers. Many of our customers don't just use rail; many of them also use road. And if rail doesn't, if we don't deliver for them every day, then they will just use road. So we've got to be better.
And at a stroke.
And there was a derailment at Felixstowe last year, and it really crippled the capacity of Felixstowe Port. I was horrified to see that actually all the containers just went by road instead. I mean, I'm talking about all of the rail capacity. Thousands of containers a day went by road with 24 hours notice. So the reason that our customers use us is because of the fact we deliver on our promise.
There's real consequence very
Massive.
quickly.
Massive. And look, here's another amazing thing I learned. The amount of intermodal traffic to Scotland used to be the highest yielding for Freightliner years back. Much of it's been lost over the last 20 years. That goes back to Hatfield. So one of the legacies
Really?
that we've still got today from Hatfield, when it goes coastal shipping.
So it goes coastal
Yeah.
shipping.
Wow.
That's going to be hard to get back, isn't it?
absolutely.
So you really are only as good as your last train.
You are. So that ship that had a collision in the North Sea, that was doing a Scotland to Amsterdam run
Right.
with containers, which would previously have gone by train.
How interesting.
Now, look, the reason I say this is actually a positive thing, because actually, despite that cost challenge that we see from road and the alternatives that our customers have, yeah, we are growing. I'd love us to grow faster. The economy is not brilliant at the moment, especially for construction. But within all of that, yeah, we're doing all right.
So are you busy now bringing our Christmas 2025 in to Felixstowe and places like it in boxes?
Absolutely, Christmas is arriving
Is that right?
through London Gateway, Southampton and Felixstowe just now. 50,000 containers that we've moved in the last month.
50,000.
Yeah. And
That's extraordinary.
there's good numbers at the moment. So yes, the ships are busy, and that is Christmas arriving. It will go to warehouses, and hopefully this will carry on through the autumn before we again start moving hopefully some parcels before Christmas.
There's one thing that always absolutely gobsmacks me about the container business is you look at these massive ships with literally thousands on, and them stacked on the quayside, and my schoolboy brain says, how do you find the one you want? I mean, the
The computer knows.
Yeah, but the organisation to have everything in the right place, I just think is stunning.
Yeah.
I mean, you point about being very easy to lose business, and of course the railway's done that before, historically, hasn't it? The 1955 footplatemen's strike drove lots of freight off that, to take your point, never came back.
Absolutely. Yeah, and look, we've newspapers, parcels. So the UK parcels industry is a fun fact. £13 billion a year is the value of the UK parcels industry, and practically none of it's going by rail.
None of it.
I was thinking that, and it was dead a few years ago, and we haven't been able to collar that, have we?
So, so this is what we're going for. This is how we have to grow freight. Yes, we have to do brilliantly with what we do already, but actually most 93% of freight doesn't go by train. That's a lot of lorries on the road.
Yeah.
And ultimately, there's no doubt that decarbonisation, removal of congestion from city centres, the NOx that diesel particulates create, rail avoids that. I've just known one of our Class 90 electric locos. So not only is a diesel loco 76% better than a lorry, an electric loco is about 95% better than a lorry.
And yet.
So, and this is why we've got to keep working with government to make sure that actually government is actively supporting rail. We're not asking for subsidies to the, what we're asking for is a level playing field, because road clearly does get
just a square
subsidies.
deal.
I mean, John Smith, as CEO of GB Rail Freight, was here yesterday, and like you, he's just utterly positive, all about winning business, very commercial. But we asked him, we talked about Great British Railways, and because for 30 years we've had a system of access, and freight could rely on being able to get onto the network. And he said, look, if we're not careful, until we've seen the detail, we're going to chuck all that away.
We don't know
what's coming in its place. I mean, do you sort of share that concern?
Completely. No, I mean, John and I are as one. I think Andrew from DB, if he was here, I think we all share those same concerns.
Yeah.
And look, I'm a huge supporter of GBR. I've said that before. I remain. It is necessary. Heaven knows we need to get some structure and some drive into the railway industry, and it's frankly the only show in town, as Lord Peter said. But we've got to make sure that it continues to support private investment, and as John was saying yesterday, you need certainty and an independent
stability.
regulator for freight, so that if GBR, for whatever reasons, makes decisions which are not in freight's interests, that it's possible to have an independent review of that and the implementation of action afterwards.
I was going to say, so the independent review has got to have teeth.
Completely. One of the challenges of the current structure is that we had a difference of opinion with Network Rail last August over an issue. It's still being, it's been to independent arbitration, and the Access Disputes Committee found in our favour. It's still not resolved. So I think it's got to be the case that once a decision is made, it's implemented.
Yeah.
Because otherwise, and in the case of this example I gave, the customers actually decided to not use rail at all. So going back to what we're saying about shipping lines, going back to what I'm saying about if rail doesn't deliver, our customers will go elsewhere.
They have alternatives and very instant ones.
So we've got to be better.
Yeah, and international logistics is very agile. They will move like that.
They will, they can, and they do.
And they do.
I mean, they're really big strategic things, aren't they? They don't get much bigger. Can we look at it's not meant to be a frivolous question. Let's look at the other end of the string. Sometimes in any business, and I believe this applies anywhere, can be just as have real impact. I mean, whistles and watches, to look at one and then blow the other. I mean, just tell us briefly about that sort of thing. And is there scope anywhere in freight that sort of small changes could have big yields? Maybe not.
No, 100%. So it's funny, isn't it, if whistles suddenly become like an innovation?
Who knew?
It's like, wow, we could have an innovation award for whistle use. Look, actually, for me, that came from my discipline that I got when I joined the Midhants Railway as a volunteer.
As a porter?
When I was as a junior porter
Junior porter.
Junior porter, 14 years old. So,
Well, you noticed how people snapped to attention when you blew the whistle.
yeah, and it was expected. I was trained to
Yeah.
dispatch trains, and using a whistle was an intrinsic part of that. And you could see how that makes sure that it just draws attention, doesn't it? So when I came to Middle and Main Line, right here in Derby, which was a long, long time ago now, wonderful group of people, right? But had been, standards had fallen because the
Like
rolling
dispatch, yeah.
stock. Well, in fact, just across the whole business,
Okay.
because it was during something called Project Rio when
I
they were
remember
trying to
it,
run
yeah.
trains from St Pancras to Manchester because of the West Coast route model.
West Coast remodernisation.
HSTs, I remember it.
HSTs, and it was a great plan. But unfortunately, what that compounded with some other rolling stock issues to mean that the Midland rolling stock fleet was in a real disrepair. Some of that was, and some own goals in there as well. So the year I joined, there were 7 HSTs that didn't make it from St Pancras to Derby. They failed completely.
Oh gosh.
Right. So it wasn't difficult to help make it better, because actually they knew what to do. There was pride in the business.
They needed
It
leadership
just
and
needed
tools.
Tools, yeah. But also, so actually the greatest innovation was the hot standby train.
Right.
So
Oh, yes, I remember
whilst the
that.
whistles and the
Yes.
watches were the, if you like, the icing on the cake, and they were the motivational thing for everyone to engage, because you need to get everyone.
And got you some newspaper coverage.
Did, but it's a bit like today, isn't it? You want everyone engaging in it. So the whistles, a whistle and a watch helps everyone engage.
Whistles.
Absolutely.
Everyone's got their part. But what really made a difference was when we got this first ever sort of HST on a pay-as-you-go contract from Porterbrook. So we only paid for HST when we needed it, which pretty much was every day.
I was going to
I
say.
was going to say, with 7 failures, it won't be most of the
We
time.
maintained it here at Etches Park rather than in Neville Hill, so there was a different team looking after it.
Right.
And the great thing was it gave the controllers some more options. So when there was an HST on one power car, rather than saying we've just got to keep it in traffic or we're cancelling, they would say, right, if it's on one power car, I want it out of traffic.
Yeah.
Right? I want it into the depot. I want to work on that power car during the day, so that by tonight it's a fit train. Meanwhile, we use the hot standby to cover the services. Funny, one of the things a lot of people said, customer service teams said, oh no, but we can't use this hot standby train because it's only got a small buffet car. It can't do a full English breakfast. And I said, forget that. Just tell people this is our spare train, it's our emergency train, and give them a bacon roll,
Yeah.
and they'll be fine. And you know what? They were.
They were fine.
Passengers would.
Because they'd rather get there with the bacon roll.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Funny, isn't it?
And actually what that led was, so we took trains out, and eventually we said, if it's only on one power car, I don't want it to come off Neville Hill in the morning. It only comes off the depot if it's got both power cars working. And if it can't, again, the hot standby stepped in. So what it did, it allowed the engineering team to raise their standards, it allowed the operations team to be more creative, the customer service staff to be more creative with bacon rolls, and the whistle and the watch was actually, right, okay, we can do this, now let's do it really, really well.
Snappily.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
And before we went on there, you just briefly tell us you had a bit of an unexpected problem with whistles in COVID.
Yes, I think some companies decided to stop using them because they were worried that it would spread COVID.
An aerosol.
But your question was about freight and what can we do?
Yeah,
And-
all the similar areas where little changes can have a big impact.
Absolutely, and so we won a contract a few weeks ago to run trains from Dowlow Quarry in the Peak District. Some of them come through here. Because we've switched from using a Class 66 to a Class 70, some of those trains are now running with 2 or 4 extra wagons.
Right.
Okay? So
More
that's a
capacity.
really good example of the Class 70 was used everywhere on Freightliner. It was sometimes intermodal, sometimes a heavy haul. No, it's a heavy haul machine. I want it hauling the heaviest trains, the longest trains we can, and that was with some great support from our drivers actually, because they really helped us with the bid. That allowed us to win that contract.
It's fantastic. Well, look,
Could listen to this.
we could absolutely we could
couldn't
talk
we?
for hours. Sadly, we can't because I think we're coming up towards the end of our time. But listen, that's absolutely superb, Tim. I love the fact, by the way, you've got some official Network Southeast paper. How long have you actually had that?
I must have. Well, since I was at Guildford in 1992, I guess. So.
That's absolutely superb. I love that. That was a real blast for the press. Chris Green, who was here yesterday,
Yeah, I should have got
would be very proud of you for that.
So, someone said I should have got to sign it, shouldn't I? Chris, if you're watching, then I've got a few more sheets at home.
Superb.
Tim,
well, listen,
thank you ever so much for taking the trouble to join Green Signals.
absolutely. Just stay with us while we just
Okay.
finish, because we're literally coming to the end now. So, thank you for joining us for this morning's live show. We've got another one coming up this afternoon at 13:45. We've got some more guests for that. Hopefully
Great
we'll have a
guests.
bit more. We've got some great guests, more chat, hopefully a little bit more video as well. You'll be able to find all the videos, including the live shows we did yesterday. They're already up on the channel. We've got a little playlist called The Greatest Gathering, so it's dead
like
easy to find.
Glastonbury, isn't
It's
it?
like, well, I think actually Jeremy Vine was here yesterday and said it's like Glastonbury for railways, isn't it?
He did.
Absolutely right. That's what it feels like, yeah.
But the BBC's sort of iPlayer Glastonbury coverage, all these playlists and things.
What was quite funny was walking on site this morning. The people who are like us, who are actually working here and doing things. Yesterday, hi. This morning, hi.
It's a bit more muted each day. Tomorrow
There's
they'll
a
be
bit
on
of a
some knees.
festival vibe going on, that's for sure. Anyway, we must stop. So, don't forget to subscribe to the channel.
Please do.
And do click notifications, because then you'll find out about new stuff as it's coming along. Do look at that Patreon offer if you get a chance for membership. Again, 50% off if you join up before the 8th of August. And with that, I think it's time to say goodbye from me and
from me, and thanks to all our supporters and members and everything else. But yes, we're off
really
from me, Nigel
appreciate
Harris.
it. And of course,
Goodbye.
thanks to our guest Tim
Tim.
and all the others who joined us. And we'll see you later. But for now, goodbye.